Hey everybody, Movie Review Next Door here, and I'm back with another review. And today I saw the film Black Warrant. This is a 2023 film directed by Tibor Taka. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's an action thriller, and it stars Cam Gigandet, Tom Berenger, uh, and Jeff Fahey. I'm trying to find the villain's name, but I can't. In this film, a semi-retired special ops assassin and a DEA agent cross paths on separate missions to stop a cyber terrorist organization that has built a dangerous machine threatening to attack the power grid and bring catastrophe to the world. Now, what did I think of Black Warrant? Well, I feel if you're going to review a film like this, you have to, again, look at it for what it's going for. This director is clearly not going for an Oscar. Look at what he's made. He's made films like The Gate, which is like a horror classic for a lot of people, or like a horror. It's like a hidden gem for a lot of people. He also did Sabotage with Mark Dacascos, which a lot of people seem to like. Spiders 3D, Ice Spiders. He makes a lot of B B movies, not bad movies, just lower budget films. So, looking at it as a crime thriller made very prominently on a lower budget than most, it's pretty all right. It's pretty decent. Um, Let me get to the cast. Cam Gigandet as Anthony. He's the DEA agent. I have not seen a lot of films with him. I know that he's in Violent Night. I still have not seen it yet. He was apparently in Without Remorse. I don't remember him. The films I have seen him in would be In the Blood with Gina Carano, which I do quite like that film, and Broken Vows with Jamie Alexander and Wes Bentley, which that film was it it's your normal like erotic thriller type of thing, nothing amazing or terrible about it. It's there. Um but like I don't mind him as an actor. I think he works well in the film. Yes, you could cast someone else in this role. It's one of those roles that's not really actor dependent. You just need like someone who looks somewhat manly, and even though he does look a bit frat boyish, I will say that that seems to be like the roles he played like when he was younger was frat boy type of roles. He still works here. Tom Berenger as Nick Falcone, he is an aging assassin brought back into the fold by his friend, played by Jeff Fahey. And it was so nice to see Tom Berenger in a role that wasn't just, oh, he's there for 5 minutes and then he's gone or dead or whatever. It was really nice to see him sharing almost equal screen time with Cam Gigandet. And the reason I was a bit scared about that was because this is one of those movies that it's probably still a SAG movie, but it had Tom Berenger's name first, even though the a bunch of the summaries make it to be Cam Giganday's character as the main character. So I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but it just seems when movies like this put a big name in the first in the lead, it's usually somebody who's in it for 5 minutes. There's a film called The Brave with Louis Mandylor and Arma Sante, and Arma Sante is billed before him on the front and on the poster. Armada Sante's in at 5 minutes. Louis Mandylor is the main character. So, who knows? Maybe it's a marketing scheme. I don't know. But he actually does have almost equal screen time with Cam Gigandet in this. And they're both main characters. It's not just like he's there for 5 minutes and then he dies, that kind of thing. But he did a fine job. It is clear that he is older, but they don't have him doing a lot of stuff that is like it feels like the film was meant for a younger actor. It feels like it was made for an older actor like Tom Berenger. And Tom Berenger is Well, I don't see his age right now, but I think he's pushing 70. I'm not 100% on that. I think he's at least 70 or over 70, but still, he did a good job. Jeff Fahey as LaRusso, he's in the film for two scenes. I do wish he was in it more because Jeff Fahey is by far one of the better actors of the whole like thing people keep calling geezer teasers, where they hire like an older actor from back in the day to be in the film for a few minutes and then that's their hook. Jeff Fahey is one of those actors that it feels like every movie he's in, he's going at it for 100%, and I can admire that. Seeing every film equally instead of just being like, oh, this is the movie I'm making money from, so I'll give it a shot. But if it's just a money job, I'm not gonna put any effort. I can applaud him for that. Um, but yeah, this is kind of your standard like crime thriller action film. And again, it's not like this is an original plot. I said it before, I'll say it again. You don't need to have an original plot for a film to be entertaining. There are a lot of people shitting on this movie, saying it looks like shit, and that it's cheap looking, that it's terribly acted. I'm not going to agree on the terribly acted part. I think part of it might be that a lot of the cast in this is Hispanic. Now, I never really got a hook on where this was supposed to take place. I think they said it at one point, but it's definitely not taking place in America. There's mostly Hispanic actors in this, other than the main characters. And I can understand what they're trying to do there. They're trying to hook in people from other places to this film, and I think that's really nice. I think it's really nice that they were like they're giving all of these roles to Hispanic actors, and I like to see that. Um, there's still people who are going to be mad that, oh, the main character isn't Hispanic. The main characters are white guys. Like, okay, can you just be happy for something once in your life? Stop poo-pooing everything. Like, have fun for once. Jesus Christ. But I digress. This film, what stuck out to me, I randomly looked at the trailer for this, and it just looked like fun. And it was. It was a decent amount of fun. Nothing spectacular, nothing. It, I don't feel like this film lied to me in the trailer because a lot of these lower budget films tend to be deceptive, especially when they're marketed by like some places like Sony, where they make them look like they have a ton more action than they do. And this film did not cheat it. The poster has like an explosion behind Cam Gigandet and Tom Berenger, but whatever, a lot of them do. I don't think there was an explosion in this film. I don't think so. But this is a film where I feel like they understand the budget. They're not trying to overdo the budget or outdo, they're not trying to do too much on the budget, which I can understand. There are many films that have tried to do more than the budget, and it's very clear and evident. Case in point, a film I reviewed not super long ago called Renegades, which had a pretty stellar cast, and the cast did great jobs for the most part. Lee Majors was there, but I was a bit disappointed he didn't get to kill anybody. But when it got to the action in that film, it showed so much that they had spent most of their budget on the cast. It was very clear that they did that. And I think that's a big issue with Daniel Zerilli. He seems to spend way too much of his budget on the cast and not enough on the production. Because he also did a film called Hollow Point that cost $1 million, allegedly. And it had some interesting cast members. Michael Pare, Natalie Byrne, who I think is an underrated martial arts actress. Um, uh, Luke Goss has like a supporting role, like, but whenever it got to the action, it was like weird shaky cam, and I'm like, you have actors that can do their own fighting. Michael Pare may not be like a martial artist or whatever. I don't know if he is, but his fights in films usually look pretty good because he's a professional and he knows how things like this should work. But again, this director, I do kind of want to visit some of his other films, especially Sabotage, because I like Mark Dacascos. I think he's a pretty decent actor, along with being a good action guy. Um, but yeah, this film again, it's nothing like you haven't heard of. Terrorists, gotta take out the terrorists. DEA agent versus a hitman who will get to the targets first, that type of thing. It's been done before. I think the Sylvester Stallone film Assassins was kind of like that, but I don't exactly know. I haven't seen it. I do want to see it though. But again, this film is not lying about what it is. It is meant to be like a lazy Sunday watch, as many people have said of other films. You watch it, you enjoy it, you're like, oh, that was a fun movie. And there you go. You can kind of compare this in a way to like watching a movie on TV where like the movie isn't the greatest, but you're just watching it because you're like, oh, this looks interesting. But yeah, I I like the film. Um, if there are things that I could critique, because here's the thing, with a film like this, it's almost so competent that it's kind of hard to critique because it's not like this film has like the camera shaking all the time. There may be a couple times where a character's running and I'm fine with it when they're running and that's fine, whatever. But this is one of those films that's like so competently made that it is kind of hard to critique it, but I'll try. I will say the like chief at the police or at the DEA office is not the greatest actor. He really isn't. And the main villain is pretty bland for sure. He's kind of just your normal like terrorist guy. This director did a couple films for Millennium, the company that brought you Olympus Has Fallen, The Expendables, um, Jolt, which I really liked, and he did Spiders 3D for them. So my guess is that because a lot of those films did focus on terrorism in the early 2000s around post 9/11 era. And I'm not saying I'm not like judging them for going with the terrorist route, but it did kind of feel like one of those like one-dimensional terrorist villains. And I did kind of want a bit more to his character. And the terrorist, like, he's barely in the film. The actor that plays him was barely in the film. So if there's anything I can say those, but for the most part, this film is pretty competently made, competently shot, competently acted, and it's just all around a watchable film. And yeah, it's on Tubi if anybody wants to see it. It's on Prime. So yeah, that's about all I have to say. So but yeah, uh, hope y'all enjoyed the review. If you've seen the film, let me know. Comment down below, like, comment, subscribe, whatever, and movie review next door.